Honourable colleagues, I want to thank Senator Simons for introducing her inquiry number 2, calling attention to the challenges and opportunities that Canadian municipalities face and to the importance of understanding and redefining the relationships between Canada's municipalities and the federal government. Together, we are navigating a reality of increased uncertainty on all fronts: economic, health, social, and environmental. At the municipal level, the challenges mount: unaffordable and inaccessible food and rent, homelessness, tent cities, displacement as a result of floods and fires, strains on the emergency health care, shelter, and food security systems. The effects of this stress on the health and well-being of people, their families, and communities, well, it no doubt goes without saying that they are more than acute. So many people are falling through the cracks of existing social, economic, and health systems. There could and should be opportunities available to these people, but at the moment they are largely left with impossible choices. Examining different approaches that can meaningfully provide stability, support, and hope when and where people need it must be and should be our priority. Canadians rightly expect their governments both to help them survive financial instability and to treat public money with care. A growing number of municipalities have identified Guaranteed Livable Basic Income as a viable initiative to respond to this dual goal. A briefing note available on the Ontario Basic Income Network's website entitled "The Case for Basic Income in Municipalities" was developed by municipal policy and political experts to examine what Guaranteed Livable Basic Income can offer from this perspective. The briefing note starts with acknowledging the challenge that municipalities are struggling to keep up with the downloaded responsibility of providing essential public and social support services. It traces a history of the responsibility for and cost of maintaining essential public and social services being increasingly picked up by municipalities as they go unaddressed by other levels of government, creating a situation where poverty stretches municipal resources to the limit. Unlike federal, provincial, and territorial governments, municipalities are unable to run deficits and have limited sources of revenue such as municipal taxation, service fees, and government grants, leaving them with few options for relief in the face of increased need. Municipal political experts talk about the reality that municipalities are seeking the means to provide residents with the flexibility to be able to afford necessary services, including electricity, heat, and water, regardless of their economic status and without compromising their well-being. They point to Guaranteed Livable Basic Income programs as a way to provide this flexibility. Guaranteed Livable Basic Income, or a GLBI, is a program of cash transfers provided to people in need. Unlike existing social assistance programs, amounts that individuals receive would not be contingent on following complex and often invasively policed rules and requirements, would be sufficient to afford necessities, and thereby would allow people the stability and certainty to rebound and plan pathways out of poverty. According to the Case for Basic Income in Municipalities, GLBI offers two key benefits to municipal governments. First, when people have a sufficient income, municipalities are better equipped to ensure that everyone has access to the public and social services they need, from affordable utilities to subsidies for programs and services. These services and supports provided by municipalities are particularly crucial, as the report notes, because from water to transport to housing, they have significant impact on the social determinants of health for community members. Second, GLBI helps to build communities. Improved financial stability makes it easier for residents to participate, contribute, and invest in their local economies and communities through measures such as shopping locally and participating in community activities. GLBI could also help give individuals more space to engage with and contribute to their communities in other ways, including through volunteer work. What is more, just as GLBI gives individuals opportunities and means to get out of situations of crisis and instability, So too would it help free up municipal budgets and decision-making from some of the burdens of having to constantly respond to crises of poverty, homelessness, and emergency needs. GLBI could allow municipalities more space to explore new policies to enrich community well-being and to chart a course toward a brighter future. With these potential benefits, it is no wonder that municipalities and mayors have become leaders and champions of GLBI. Many people know that 3 municipalities partnered with the province of Ontario in 2017 to be sites for a provincial basic income pilot. Less well known is the fact that these 3 cities were chosen from approximately 100 municipalities. That is nearly 1 in 4 Ontario municipalities that made pitches to the province for inclusion in the program. Interest in GLBI continues to grow. As of November 2023, our office is aware of endorsements across Canada from the Union of BC municipalities to the Atlantic Mayors Congress, and from at least 51 individual municipalities from Victoria to St. John's, spanning cities and towns in at least 6 provinces: British Columbia, Ontario, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland and Labrador. The federal government has a duty to respond to these resolutions pouring in from city councils and calling on the federal government to work with them to make GLBI a reality. Bill S-233, currently being studied by the Senate National Finance Committee, provides an avenue for us to support municipalities facing crises who have identified GLBI as a solution they want and need. This legislation would call on the Minister of Finance to develop a national framework for implementation of a GLBI, creating a mandate and a home in the federal government to examine implementation as a potential solution to the problem of increasing income insecurity in Canada. Crucially, the bill would require consultation with all levels of government, including municipalities, as well as Indigenous and provincial and territorial governments and civil society experts, bringing together the key actors needed to begin detailed consideration of what a Canadian GLBI could look like. Municipalities are witnessing suffering caused by income security firsthand and stretching their limited resources to try to provide stopgap emergency measures. This is not a fair, not a sustainable, nor an effective response to what is a national crisis. It is time for collaboration among governments to coordinate resources and responses in order to more proactively address the root causes of this insecurity in ways that save money and lives in the long term. Municipalities are leading the way in urging Canada to imagine communities where we are no longer spending $80 billion per year on programs that still subjugate people to poverty and homelessness. We need to invest in Canadians and stop condemning the most marginalized to emergency rooms, compromised health, shelters, tent cities, the streets, and prisons. We can and must answer the call for safer, healthier, more just and inclusive communities. We must insist on governmental collaboration to address the inequities that create current social, health, and economic poverty and income security. Thank you, Senator Simons, for encouraging us to examine the vital roles of our municipalities. Miigwech, merci. Thank you.